Hello, good morning. Hello. Yeah, good morning, my fellow brethren in Christ. My name is Richard Salau. I'll be speaking on a topic. I'll be speaking on a topic titled Understanding Our Temperament Levels to Fostering a Longer Marital Relationship. What do we? Marriage is actually a beautiful thing. It is something. It is an institution that God Himself had ordained, and it is mandatory for every man to be able to enjoy the profits and the joy and the privileges attached to marriages. By God's grace, I've been married for about 5 years. If I'll be adding my relationship, my courtship with it, then we'll be having 2 years of courtship and 5 years of marriage. And um, bringing up this adding up these years together, which is about 7 years, it has actually not been that easy. But for the love of marriage, for the love of Christ in me, I have been able to endure, persevere through, to be able to learn some of those things young couples might not actually want to have that patience to understand. And one of these issues is understanding our temperament levels. Each and every one of us, every man has his or her temperament levels. So understanding one's temperament would actually foster close and genuine relationship. For example, for instance, we have four different types of temperament levels as human beings. Number one, we have the sanguines. Number two, we have the cholerics. Number three, we have the melancholic individuals. So all of these traits, it takes patience and it takes years of learning, years of trying to understand understand ourselves to be able to know exactly which of these temperament levels we have. For example, I shared with you earlier on that it took me 7 years by God's grace to be able to understand that my wife is actually a sanguine. Their sanguines are actually very social people. They love attaching themselves to people a whole lot. They are very loving. They are kind-hearted. Then one of their ills is they are actually this type of individuals that don't actually think properly. They actually don't think deep properly before they take decisions. So this particular trait in my wife has actually given me a tough time because I have to share my person. This is actually sharing a personal experience. It actually gave me tough time, but thank God this fifth year of our marriage, I was able to deeply understand that I need to help her in this situation. So if my wife is actually loving, she's kind-hearted, she's holy, she has all the attributes I actually want in a woman. But the essence of being not able to no I mean the essence of being not able to think deeply before taking decisions, if that is the only shortfall of us, then it is mandatory for me as a very good husband to be able to assist her and help her. Assisting her and helping her would foster, elongate, and make the marriage happier. By God's grace, an incident happened this very year that actually made me understand my wife as a sanguine. And I've come to discover that, okay, for her to be a sanguine, then it's on my own onus to be able to assist her in the ill part of her lifestyle. Now, for myself, I've been able to understand my temperament level. I'm a choleric, and also share some similarities as a melancholic individual. For cholerics, they are actually perfectionists. They are very ambitious. They are goal oriented. They actually want to get things done at the slight at the slight minimum of time. They are actually goal oriented. They want to achieve so much. Cholerics also are very detailed individual. So it takes so much. It had actually taken so much time for me to really understand myself as a choleric, and partly also share some similarities as a melancholic individual. For example, my wife will always tell me that you don't want to you actually don't want to understand my own point of view. You don't want to do this, you don't want to do that. You want everything to be done perfectly well. That is a nature. So on her own part, she needs to understand me as that kind of person. By God's grace, she has been able to get used to the fact that this person, her husband, is actually a go-getter. He always wants things to be very, very perfect. He is an ambitious individual. He wants to get so many things done almost at the same time. And as a melancholic, he is a perfectionist. He wants everything to be done in a perfect way. So, literally, for myself, I had to understand another deeper side of my own temperament, that not everybody would understand me, my nature. So I need to give room for open communication. Open communication actually fosters us to understanding ourselves properly. If we are actually open in communication, you give room to listen properly to your wife or vice versa. Either the husband or your wife, or the wife, you need to understand the attributes of open communication. Open communication in marriages actually helps to understand our temperament levels. What I mean by open communication is you trying to listen properly to your partner. If you give room for good and passionate listening, you understand, naturally helps to understand the deeper side of both parties, either the wife or the husband. It helps us to be able, it helps each of us to be able to understand, okay, fine, this is what you this is what you don't like, these are your likes, these are your dislikes. And to the other party too, these are your likes and these are your dislikes. Okay, when this happens, okay, this is how I want you to handle the situation. So open communication in marriages actually assist to brings in this synergy to understanding ourselves properly. And understanding ourselves properly brings joy into marriages, foster and hence fosters a long lasting relationship in marriage. I've been privileged to actually see into some few marriages where I got to understand that the reason for their divorce, or the reason for their separation, or the reason for their arguments is just because of the fact that they did not allow the simple attribute of open communication to foster the attributes of understanding. I'll tell you one thing for free. If you say you are actually try as much as possible to engage in a long spanned courtship, my dear brothers, my dear sisters, there is no way you can understand your partner having a long spanned courtship period. It is not possible. I am talking from experience. It is not possible because the attributes, the behaviors you put out for your partner to see during courtship will actually be different from those attributes you actually explore or just show up when you enter the marriage. Because naturally, we all believe that once we enter into that marriage, there's nowhere each of us are actually going. Then we are in the marriage, then we have to endure ourselves, we have to persevere in whatever that comes out of the marriage. And these are some of the things many couples actually don't understand. For you to understand your wife, for you to understand your husband, it takes a long period of time. So like my daddy usually says, ìgbéyàwó, ilé ẹ̀kọ́ ni ìgbéyàwó, in the literal sense that marriage, which is actually an institution, is a forever learning. It's actually an institution where you learn, you continue learning, you continue learning, you continue learning, you continue to understand one another, each other rather, in marriage. Now, the fourth temperament level are actually the fourth temperament level are actually pragmatisms. They are actually types of individuals that are actually open-minded people. They are people that actually want to make sure that, okay, they don't engage in any form of arguments. They don't get angry easily. They are very loving people. They are actually good people also, but they also have their own ills because they are actually types of individuals that are indecisive. They don't know how to take decisions easily. Anyone who actually marries a a pragmatic individual needs to understand that he or she would need to help this person to be able to attain his or her visions or goals in life. So, my dear brethren, my dear brothers, my dear sisters, marriage is actually a beautiful thing, and God in heaven frowns against divorce in marriage. So before each and every one of us enter into the institution marriage, we should understand one thing, that we need to exercise, we need to understand that the institution you are entering into, you actually want to learn. You actually want to learn. If you are not ready to learn, then there's no way there's no way you can actually last long in that marriage. And first thing that needs to be done is to understand the temperament levels of your partner. Very, 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 very important. Very, 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 very important. And like I shared earlier, it takes a long span period of time to be able to understand the temperament level of your partner. It is not possible for you to understand the temperament level of your partner in months or in few years, because both parties or two of you are actually coming from two different backgrounds. So backgrounds also really matters. Background also has a way of influencing your temperament levels. Someone who came from an hostile background will actually want something much more different from the kind of background she has in marriage. So therefore, if someone actually came from an hostile background, such kind of person will actually want to enter into a marriage with a person who is kind-hearted, who is very, very loving. And such kind of people, it takes time it takes time to actually understand what they want. So in essence, for us to be able to last long in marriage, for us to be able to enjoy our marriage, like I actually said, temperament, understanding our temperament levels is a key, is a vital key, to learn. So I would actually admonish every one of us, who is actually planning to enter into marriage or is into marriage, to understand the fact that understanding your partner's temperament level would create synergy, will create harmony, will bring in harmony into the marriage. There's no point arguing over my wife did this, my wife did that, she's always doing this, she's always doing that, she's this, she's that, she's very annoying, he's very annoying, he is not loving, he's not this, he's not that. My brother, my sister, try as much as possible to leave the complaint levels. Learn. Try as much as possible to understand your partner's temperament level. When you initiate that, it naturally gets you very calm to understand that, one, you need to allow open communication. Number two, you need to allow companionship. These two would let you understand the fact that, okay, fine, even if your partner annoys you in a way, then it makes you, rather than trying to argue, or rather than try to raise eyebrows on the reason why he or she actually did that, then it gives you, it sparks up this innate reasoning in you to be able to find out the reason why that particular action came up. That particular thing your partner did that actually got you annoyed. You, as an understanding individual, would try as much as possible to get to the root of the reason why he or she did that thing that actually got you annoyed. Then once you get the information, once you get that information, you understand the reason behind the anger, then it makes you understand the person more. It makes you understand the reason why he, whether the husband or the wife, actually took to that step. Now, I would love to share a personal experience of mine this year. The issue actually started in December last year. My wife is actually is actually a type of individual that actually loves education. She wants to be educated. She wants to be highly educated. Then she came up with a fight in December. In fact, it was a tug of war. And when I had to take my time to understand what she wanted, okay, she wanted to get more education. And literally, as a husband, I knew that it was not the right time for her to get that level of education she wanted. She still had to learn one or two things. She still has to get one or two things done. She still needed to understand that she needs to accumulate some level of bravery to be able to enter into that phase of life. But as God will have it, when the tension was very, very high, and I understood that if I don't take if I don't take an immediate decision, it could affect my marriage. I had to give in to her. I paid, she got her admission. I paid unnecessary fees. She went to school for she went to school for her registrations and everything. She got into the institution. In short, she got into the institution, she started that program. But before then, I would sit my wife down, ask her questions, let her understand what she has actually entered into. Let her understand that, okay, fine, how do you manage your husband at this phase of your life with two kids, two young, very young kids, one 2 years and one 4 years. Now you entering into an institution that is far away from your home, far away from your marriage, far away from your children, far away from your home. How do you want to cope? How do you want your husband to cope? How do you want your children to cope? But all of this fell on deaf ears until she got into the program. Now, lo and behold, one or two things sprung up during the program. She ran back home to her marriage, to her husband, to her children. Then, a shocking news I received from my wife. I will no longer want to I will no longer want to continue the program any longer. because I had one or two dreams and all that, and all that, and all that, blah, 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 blah. It was so shocking. For me as a husband, I had actually learned to overcome that particular challenge, because it was actually a challenging period of my life between between December and June, between December and June 4, 2024 had actually been a very, very challenging part of my life. But as Lord we have it, with patience, with tolerance, I was able to overcome it. I got used to that particular way of life, of not actually getting to have your wife close to you. Then when she broke the news to me, she will no longer be able to continue the program. In fact, I got to understand that Dayo, Richard, you need to be extra patient. This is another trouble coming. This is another trouble coming that you need to be very cautious on that. Try as much as possible to understand why she's opting out. Then we had a roundtable talk, we discussed about it, and from a tone of voice, from a point of perception, I got to understand that she had already understood the reason why I told her that this is not the right time for you to live, to be distant from your home. This is not the right time to be distant from your children. This is not the right time to be distant from your husband. And what you actually engage into, the kind of course you engage into, you actually engage yourself into in that school is not the right course of study you were supposed to go through. Deep in me, I got happy that finally my wife has understood what I was actually trying to explain to her. Finally, my wife has actually got to understand the reasons I gave her not to indulge in that activity. Now, what am I trying? Why did I actually have to share this particular experience? I had to share this particular experience because with what she did, looking into my own temperament levels, I would not take that for an excuse. I'll actually give my verdict. Fine, you have gone to do that. You have actually disobeyed me, then bear the consequence. But because of the fact that I have been able to, this period had been able to let me understand a temperament level as a sanguine, as someone who would not actually look into things properly before taking decision. This actually made me understand. This actually helped me to overcome another phase of challenge that would have caused my marriage another long span duration of turmoil in the home. Then this occurrence, this challenge made me understand my own temperament levels, to the fact that even as a goal getter, as someone who would not take I mean, someone, and as an individual, as a choleric and a melancholic, I actually have this trait that I will not, if I actually tell you don't do something and you do it, and you actually get into trouble, that is it. It actually made me understand that I need to be more tolerant. I need to be more tolerant. I need to give room for open mind. I need to give room for open mind. I need to really be patient. I really needed to be patient. My dear brethren, in marriage, patience is a virtue. It is something you need to nurture, you need to grow. For every marriage to be harmonious, for every marriage to be loving, patience is a very vital key. Patience is a very vital thing. Then I will give you one thing. I will let you understand one thing. Now, marriage has a very strong significance in our destinies. I married the wrong person. I married the wrong. I made a mistake in marriage. I didn't think very well before I actually married this person. My dear brothers and sisters, if God never wanted that marriage to happen, it will not happen. For you to be in that marriage, there is a reason. There is actually a significant reason. And what is the reason? The major reason is for each party to be able to help one another in areas where they are weak, in their area of weakness. Now, for the marriage to be able to achieve, for both parties to be able to achieve their destiny in life, there must be synergy. And patience is one attribute that will let you understand, that will make you understand, wanting to understand your wife's temperament level, your husband's temperament level, and this in turn would actually make sure that the marriage is harmonious and happy. Our destiny is a very strong and important virtue, important area, important area of our life we need to practically understand. And our temperament levels as a way of making sure that the difficulties, the challenges we face in our marriages would not affect our pursuit to making sure that we we achieve our destiny, our destiny, each other's destiny in marriage. So, my dear brothers and sisters, marriage is a beautiful thing, and to foster a long-standing marriage, we need to understand our temperament levels. Understanding our temperament levels has a long, has a very, plays a very vital role to making our marriages happy, harmonious, and long lasting. So, my dear brethren, I appreciate everyone for this time given to me to actually explore and explore my my few years of experience in marriage, and I hope that the God we all serve would help us to manage ourselves properly in marriage. To be able, the God Almighty would help us to manage well our temperament levels in our respective marriages. I really appreciate every one of you for the time listening to me, and I appreciate my daddy, Reverend Peter Adenmosun, for this privilege, for this very good privilege he has given me to be able to be able to share my experience, my little experience in marriage. Thank you very much for listening. God bless you.